Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, a new season here of the OSC Elite Rising Star number 16. It has been months since the 15th edition actually, months since it wrapped up. Months since it began. It did wrap up not too long ago. Whew, and we have crowned our champion. We crowned our new OSC Elite Rising Star champion. Of course, Jimmy, I did notice him in the chat, was said Rising Star, and we'll see if he can replicate that success. We'll see if we can see more of the same, or if another star can rise up and take his place. Here we go. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves. I'm of course Live VIP with him. I'm joined by these amazing players, by my plushies, and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one and all. This is a very special tournament. This is a I would say in a way almost an MMR restricted tournament designed to showcase some of the rising talent in StarCraft 2. Instead of your regulars, instead of your, namestays like players like Solar, Björn, Maxpax, Clem, no. This is about who? This is about Hatsu, it's about Mixu, Honmono, Papi, ArT, Ziomek, Nickrat, and many others. As you can see here, we have a massive bracket with our rising stars, Papi. Let's go. But only one can rise amongst the rest. As I mentioned, Jumi is going to be the reigning champion of the OSC Elite, number 15, and we'll see if he can do it again. And now this is going to be a massive month-long event. I say month-long, it might even take more than a month. The previous one did. So it's going to take some time to get through the bracket itself here. Players, they do play their matches ahead of time. They submit the replays to our lovely admin, to the owner and organizer of OSC, and we have been provided with the replays. This is day one. This is day one of OSC Elite Rising Star, so again, we got plenty more days, plenty more weeks, plenty more months ahead of us for this tournament. And again, we have quite a lineup of players here. As I mentioned before, we have Hatsu, we have Mixu, Homo versus Papi, ArT versus Ziomek, F2 Click versus ArT. We have Nickrat in the next round, Shameless in the next round, INexorable in the next round. We have Sebesdes versus Hydra. We have Sig. Actually, let's see if we can scroll down a little bit. There we go. We have Sig versus Middle VK, Minizerg, UA versus Moja. We have Baby Marine versus Night Phoenix, and Yudi Soldier versus Demi. And your eyes don't deceive you, because if you look down here, bam, lower bracket. We have it. It's double elimination. This is why the tournament can take quite some time, because we have a double elimination bracket, Papi. Oh my god, look at all those matches. Look at it's a lot of games, it's a lot of matches, it's a lot of StarCraft. So today we have day number 1. Bearing in mind as well, we're going to be casting 10 best of 3s. 10 best of 3s in today's cast. I mentioned and I emphasize the word today because I'm not finishing it here and now. We're going to be cutting the broadcast into 2. This morning we have our morning broadcast of 5 best of 3s. This evening, another 5. That's the plan. That's the plan. That is the go-to. That is how we will approach this. Here we go. So from the very top here, we have our initial series, our initial lineup. Game 1 is going to be ArT versus Ziomek. As you can see here, scrolling down, the ArT, not to be confused with ArT, different ArT, but up here, ArT versus Ziomek. Winner goes up against the winner of Honmona and Papi. So we are going to be focusing on this portion of the bracket. Let's go. Let us go. That is the plan. And again, hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Hope you're all doing a great job. Hashtag Team Papi. Yes, let's go. Yo, I see Chileno in the chat as well. Chileno. Ay. Shout to Pecoeta. Thank you so much, Pecoeta, for subscribing for 8 months. 8 months. That's a lot of months. That's a lot of months of support. We do appreciate it. Likewise, big shout out to Jumi, or to Istan for being the first quacker, and for gifting a sub to Jumi as well. Thank you so much for all the support as we are jumping into our first series of the day. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be ArT versus Ziomek. Game 1 is going to be on Tokamak. Now, bearing in mind, these are all going to be best of 3s, purely best of 3s here, at least so far in the tournament. We will get to the point where we get into some best of 5s and some greater series, but for now, we're jumping into our initial, the first of many PvPs. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the red Protoss player representing Quasar. It is ArT. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Polish player, the blue Protoss, representing, I believe, I almost said SC2 people, SC2 Super People. It is Ziomek. Super People's Esports. That's it. Trying to recall what it was. But yes, we are going to be settling in. And if you're in the chat, true, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Play your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chats as we jump into our PvP. Hashtag Team Pat. Unfortunately, I don't think we're casting Pappy today, unfortunately. We're casting ArT versus Jomek, ArT versus F2 Click, the other ArT. We're going to be covering Sebesdes versus Hydra and a couple of other matches as well. So, not this morning at least, but we'll get to some Pappy. We'll get there. But now 2-gate opener out of ArT, likewise 2-gate opener out of Jomek. Everything looking normal, everything looking standard so far. We've been covering a lot of PvP as of late, I mean as always really on the channel, and we've been seeing a lot of aggression, a lot of all-ins. We rarely do get to see a 3-base versus 3-base setup, but what I will say is that there's a higher chance of that happening here. Again, welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, much more defensive as well, and based on the initial openers, based on the scouting, we have no proxy. No proxies from either player, so we can settle into our 2 bases, and we might even settle into a 3rd as well. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. As for the time being, we're going to be settling in. It is going to be Stalker Sentry out of ArT. Meanwhile, we have Double Stalker out of Jomek. Okay, interesting move. With the Double Stalker opener, we're going to have a bit of a more assertive start. That does mean that we can push it across the map and try to apply pressure to the natural base of ArT. Meanwhile, ArT is being more defensive, more safe. He will have the Sentry for Hallucination for a scout across the map. So a bit of a different approach, more aggressive from one and more defensive from the other. So we've taken up our roles, and we could even follow this up with a 3rd and 4th Stalker as well. As here come the initial 2. Focus on the pylon so that we can expand. Pylon is cancelled. ArT does pull away. Rotates back around with his probe. Does rotate back around. Jomek taking his own natural. Stalkers are fanning out. And Jomek, he does skip his 3rd and 4th Stalker, going double Sentry as a follow-up. Okay, so he doesn't double down, but he's searching for the probe. He knows that it's somewhere. It is somewhere. We can see it here on the right-hand side. As the Hallucination does move out across the map. ArT confirms his expansion. Confirms there is a Nexus. Rotates back into the main. And likewise confirms the Twilight Council as well. So just getting an eye on the tech. Just confirming. Oh! Hallucination goes down. ArT likewise fading out. Ooh, as we're going to be trading 1-to-1 here, but ArT does try to catch other sentries. A couple of boys are being pulled. Sentries are going to be saved, at least for now. Let's save the sentries. And with that, Jomek, I mean, unfortunately, he has no shield wearing the low ground, but it looks like he should be able to hold on. Ooh, losing another sentry. ArT still just rallying across the map, but here comes the defensive warp in, and Jomek holds. Jomek, he holds on. ArT gets the hell out of there, does pull away, throws down a aggressive pylon here to reinforce, warping in 2 adepts at a time. And remember, 2 adepts, they can one-shot workers. They can one-shot, so he can threaten the natural, he can threaten the main, he can threaten those mineral lines. Both players are taking the same direction, but ArT is being much more assertive here. Much more assertive with the Stalkers, and now with the adepts. He's in the face. So it does threaten a dive. Yep, does shade into the mineral line. Gets 1, 2, barely doesn't get 3. I spoke too soon. 3rd worker goes down. That's an okay trade. It's okay. Ideally do want a little bit more than that, and yeah, we're gonna just take a bit of a slower approach. We said before that the chances of this going into a longer macro game was a little bit higher here in Tokamak, and here it is. Both players are expanding, both players are claiming their 3rds. Okay, so we're slowing things down, getting to our 3rd bases. We're macroing back. Let's go. We're macroing up. ArT once again scatting, does confirm the gateway count, does confirm the 3rd base timing. Gets eyes on the robo, should be feeling pretty safe. ArT should be feeling secure. Jomek, he has not seen anywhere near as much. He's working a little bit blind. For all Jomek knows, there could be a 2-base all incoming his way. So making a bit of an assumption. Pylon is still out there. But no warpins yet. So ArT does move out. Gonna apply some pressure to the third. His army gets spotted. Again, Jomek doesn't know how committed this is. Back in. Deflected. Here come those adepts. While ArT distracts, ideally he does want to slip by and get into the natural. As Jomek is heavily oversaturated. There we go. Does transfer. From here he'll transfer. ArT's going to be fully saturating his own third. I'm shading in. Getting one so far. This one pulls away, loses an adept. For the most part, Jomek is defending. I mean, I say he's defending, like, this is slowly getting damaged. This is, again, at least keeping Jomek on the back foot. ArT back at home, freely expanding, getting a 4th base, and taking up. Taking up into charge. When it comes to our big difference between the two players, it looks like we do have early immortal production here out of Jomek, so he does have a couple of immortals mixed in. That is not the case for ArT. That may play a factor in the main fight. Charge is finishing up for Jomek. ArT already warping in Zealots. Jomek just now going for his own gateway explosion. And once the upgrades kick in, I mean, ArT can start moving out. So the Prism has arrived. Here we go. Prism joins the main army. Temple Archives is complete as well. So he can morph in those Archons. And Jomek, he's just isn't quite ready for this here. Can we get on top of that Immortal? Here come the Archons. Good, 2 Archons morphing in. Likewise, the Immortal looking very exposed. Where are those ults? Where are those warpins? There we go, Jomek. The gateways are still coming. He needs more time. He needs those gateways. I'm running Zealots. He just collapsed on the army. We get some OK Force Field Stalkers. They blink in. They go for the Archons. They get one. One Archon instantly goes down, and ArT will just completely overwhelm. Again, ArT had for the most part momentum in this game and just barely did edge it out. GG gets called. ArT does take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, both players were for the most part keeping up with each other and being neck and neck, but we saw that, again, Jomek, his production was too late. His production was a couple of seconds too late, so even though he had a bit of a bank to work with, he had no warpins. He had no warpins available, so he couldn't reinforce his army, and we saw that ArT hit, bam, just then, just there. GG. GG, well played. It did overwhelm just before Jomek could get ready. And again, it was these small side advantages, whether it's ArT killing workers, forcing Jomek to replace them, whether it's ArT getting a faster 4th base. True, slightly faster 4th base, faster charge, faster prism, faster move out, slightly faster on most fronts. And here we go, we're now getting into game number 2, and we'll see if we can get all the way to the ace match, or if ArT can take it here and now. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have our red Protoss player. Representing Quasar, it is ArT. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the Polish Protoss, down in the series. We'll see if we can bring it back and force the ace match. It is Jomek. Go. So players are settling in. Last game we had 2 gate openers, no proxies. We saw aggression, but again, it was on 3 bases, really more than anything. But now we're living into Pylon. Pylon is a more aggressive map of the map pool. I do expect our players to be more assertive here. Looks like no proxies though. Waiting for that second gateway. Then we go 2-gate opener out of ArT and 2-gate opener out of Jomek. So far, mirrored openers. Probes are moving out. Hello. where are we headed? We see Jomek, he skirts around the edge of the map instead. ArT is going straight across for the scout. And Jomek, we'll see what we get done with this. We'll see if we do decide to hide a pylon. So it does move in. There we go. Pylon is going to be hidden. This location would be ideal for a proxy Stargate if Jomek wanted to commit. Speaking of, Cybercore is still not yet done. Once it does finish, we can throw down our tech of choice. Cybercore's done. Bam! And it is... Oh, I assumed it was going to be a Stargate. My apologies. Proxy Robo. One base all in out of Jomek. Okay. Okay. Let's go. With that Robo, he can go Immortal first, or he can go Prism first. If he goes for the War Prism, he can just go straight into the main. But that's typically coinciding with with an Adept-based opener, just so you can get the Adept in and then just wreak havoc. Here comes Hallucination, defensive Robo out of ArT. I mean, remember, ArT, he scouted. He sees no pylons, so he knows that there's a proxy. He's looking and scouting. Hallucination across the map, probe on left-hand side. And honestly, this is a really good read. ArT, he's gambling a little bit here, but a defensive Robo would be ideal against a proxy, against specifically a proxy Robo instead. Yeah, it's ArT, yet he does scout the pylon, and he does confirm the Robo. He's now aware it's a one-base all-in. And now he can start his own Immortal production. So ArT, he already has the setup to deal with this. Yeah, brutal position here for Jomek. Jomek is building up his own army. But the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for ArT. He's setting up. Obviously, ArT, he's going to have the defender's advantage. He's going to have faster reinforcements. Jomek going for his Prism. So is ArT. Yeah, and ArT, he even goes to the Stargate. The Stargate's going to be ideal to get into Phoenixes. Phoenixes, they can shut down the Prism, and they can lift the Immortals. So, given time, ArT will get there. Jomek moving in. Oh. Tries to hit the pylon. He's turned back. Jomek forced out of the main. Forced out. Warping in more Stalkers. Jomek looking for another way in. So far, going for the gateway. Prism just goes across the... Oh, this is so risky. But he just goes across. He goes for the Robo. He could go for the pylon, but goes for the Robo instead. Nice force field. Slowing this down. But again, ArT, he's exposed. He has no Immortal to defend back at home. He needs a little bit more time. Second Immortal does pop out. Ooh, catching a Stalker. Catching a Stalker. Going for the Immortal. Oh, no! Going to be saved. That's Stalker behind. And ArT, he does get here in time. Oof. Punishing the army. Can he deny the warp in? Looks like he barely will. Up! Oh no, ass! Oh my god. Denies the warp in, depowers the Robo. And the main armies, they do clash. We just see another Immortal going down, and Jomek is being hunted down here. The Phoenix has arrived. We spoke about it. The Phoenix can just shut down the Prism. Get out of here. The Prism cannot escape. Not like this. Prism goes down. Oh, tried to recall, but to no avail. And there's nothing left. There's what, 2 sentries and a Stalker. The Robo's depowered. ArT rallying everything across the map. Again, there was a big risk for ArT to go for the Robo, to go for the depower, but he got away with it. Likewise, the Phoenix, the Stargate was a assault response. After the initial Robo, of course, does force a cancel, and Jomek doesn't really have much to work with here. He can force field the ramp, for sure, 100%. He can force field the ramp, he can buy time on one base, but ArT's expanding. ArT, he just chills, backs off, takes his own natural base. ArT is in the commanding position. Going for the Lich, going for the Phoenixes. Which means no force fields, and he can just focus them down one after the other. Oof. Boys are being pulled. Nice force. Oh no, he looks down the probes. He cannot escape. GG gets called, and ArT will take the series 2-0, taking down Jomek and advancing on into the next round. GG. GG, well played. ArT will claim the series. He will advance on. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Jomek, he's still in the tournament, of course. He's going to be knocked down to the lower bracket, but a strong showing here from ArT. Jomek, he took a chance. He took a risk going for the proxy. Unfortunately, ArT, even though he didn't initially scout the proxy, his response was to go for a robo. He took it very seriously. Took it very seriously. Of course, for all he knew, it could have been a fake out. It could have been a proxy Stargate instead, but thankfully for ArT, it was a proxy robo, so he was able to shut it down, able to scout, confirm, react quite well, get ready with the Stargate, get ready with the Phoenix as the follow. GG. GG, well played. ArT will take the initial series of the broadcast, and that is our first of many matches wrapping up. And now we have another PvP. Of course, Pappy, of course. Featuring a very different ArT. This is ArT who's on Quasar, but up next we're going to be featuring ArT who's on the Platinum Heroes. This is the Polish ArT instead. Let's go. So another PvP, we have ArT versus F2 Click, not to be confused with ArT. Let's go. As game 1 is going to be on Oceanborn. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the green Protoss player representing CSO Esports. It is F2 Click. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Polish Protoss player, the pink Protoss, representing the Planet Heroes. It is ArT. Who is not like the other ArTs. Let's go. Let us go again. GG, well played. ArT to take the initial match, the initial series, and now we're jumping into a very different kind of PvP. Now, in my experience casting F2 Click has been hyper cheesy and hyper aggressive. I don't think I've seen F2 Click macro before, but we'll see. We'll see if he does change his approach going up against ArT. ArT is coming in as the heavy favorite. I just can't wait to get into ArT versus ArT. It's been a while. Oh no. We'll see if they face off in the bracket at some point. The stars may align. They may align. A lot has to go right for them, though, for them to face. Oh boy. Oh right, if I hadn't already, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. I think the predictions have already closed, so I may have just put it in my mind. Choose outcome, ArT. Okay, there we go. There we go. Or new player, if you're in the chat, these players have been around for quite some time. If you're referring to F2 Click, we have casted him a couple of times here on the channel. I think he even played in the MSO previously, the Master Swan Open. So yeah, we've covered him a couple of times. As I mentioned before, I don't think I've ever seen F2 Click macro. Like he has been very cheesy and very all in. And hey, as if on cue, one base all in out of F2 Click, setting up with the proxy rover. Meanwhile, ArT, just like the previous ArT, the robo opener instead. So ArT, he scouts, he sees no pylon. I will say there's a bit of a difference here. Like, if I can say, F2 Click, I've never seen a macro before, I'm pretty sure the other players that face him on the ladder also are familiar with his style. So ArT, his response upon seeing the lack of pylon is to just be hyper defensive. And there's a little bit more kind of weight behind this, or rationale behind this. I would say more so than ArT versus Jomek, where I want to say that was more of a risk. Meanwhile, you can see ArT scouting. He does scout with his probe on the right-hand side, checking with the Stalker on the left. Checking everywhere, but he does not find the robo. Now, this is a very obscure location for the robo because it's so far away. As you can see, he's across the map. Closer to his opponent than back at home, for sure, but still is off by the wayside, so it's more difficult to scout, more difficult to confirm. ArT versus ArT is as anticipated as Clem versus Maru. True. It really is. It really is. Gibch, papi, gibch. It's gonna be awful. Yo, if I have trouble casting Beyond versus Bunny, mate, ArT versus ArT is gonna be a nightmare. No. The Biani. Oh, the Biani. As the Robo is complete, the Immortal does pop out, and we are going for the all-in. We have the Immortal, we have the Prism. Likewise, ArT's getting ready behind this. Ready back to the natural. Too quick, making his way in. ArT is ready in the main. Nice positioning. Shield Barrier's not done. Force Fields, they locked down one of the Stalkers, but I'll pick up here out of F2 Click. Preserving his Stalkers. Buying time. More Shield Barriers on the way. Remember, F2 Click can always try to rotate into the main. Speaking of, yeah, he's going for it. Sentry is loaded. He's going for the main base. But the army does respond in time. Whew. Yeah, it does respond. Force Field, oh, misplaced. Yeah, misplaced Force Field, or is it? Sentry moves down, the Immortal barely within range. Yeah, the Immortal going ham. Tsar moves down. Once again, nice Force Field. Zones away the main army. Pulling the ground against a Stalker at 2 click. Can he pop up? Yeah, boys are being pulled. The Immortal, nice juggling, saves the Immortal. And we have another Force Field. Again, ArT just cannot really engage. If 2 click is giving him what he wants though. Fighting up the ramp. Going for the Stalker, now going for the Immortal, and barely will not get it. Oof. Yeah, the Immortal survives. I can't say the same for F2 Click, he'll lose his own. Trades 1 for 1. And I was going, no, please go for the Prism. Prism goes down, and F2 Click, he will lose everything. GG gets called, the army crumbles. The all-in fails, and ArT takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Hi. GG, well played with that. ArT will take a lead in the series again. A very intense game won by F2 Click. But as I mentioned before, F2 Click has a reputation, right? He has a reputation of being hyper aggressive and hyper all-in. ArT played it safe. And even though there were some nice moments for F2 Click, I would say that he didn't really take full advantage. He was force-fielding the ramp, which ideally zones away the army and takes away a bunch of DPS from your opponent. Despite doing so, though, he still fought within range of the army. Like, he still fought within range of the ramp, so despite ArT being pinned back, like, his Immortals, they were still adding to the fight, they were still adding extra DPS, still adding more prowess here for ArT, and F2 Click had just a bit of a harder time breaking the natural and really being as efficient as possible. GG. GG, well played, and we'll see what kind of shenanigans we have ready for us as we get into game number 2. Game 1 was a proxy robo. Do we go for another proxy robo? Do we go for a proxy dark shrine? Do we go for a 2-base all-in instead? There are different ways to be all-in, different ways to be aggressive in PvP. What's it going to be? As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner... of Persephone, we have the Polish Protoss player, we have the pink Protoss representing the Planet of Heroes. It is ArT. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the green Protoss player representing CSO Esports. It is F2 Click. Question becomes, not is he going to proxy, question becomes, what kind of cheese are we going to get into? What kind of all-in? Let's go. Show us what you got. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit sad that there's no forge. I was half expecting a cannon rush. Not gonna. But now though, we're calming down. We do have our initial 2 gate openers. Speaking of a 2 gate opener at the F2 Click. Oh, hello ArT. What's going on? ArT, he does not go for a second gateway. ArT is being greedy. He goes for a single gateway into expand. Yeah, one of the greediest openers you can go for outside of just straight Nexus first. A gate expand before the Cybercore, before the Stargate, before the second gas. Hyper greed here out of ArT. He is asking to be all in. But do you see what I see? F2 click throwing down a proxy in the top right hand corner of the map. So a couple of things are happening here. One, zero scouting. F2 click doesn't scout. He doesn't know what's going on. If he did probe scout and if he reacted to this with a one base all in with a proxy robo, the same build he went for last game, there's a higher chance of that working. There's a much higher chance of that actually breaking ArT. Unfortunately, F2 click doesn't know how greedy ArT is being, and F2 click is going proxy robo. But speaking of unorthodox locations, what? I assume this is going to be a Stargate or a Twilight Council. It's once again proxy robo, and I just mentioned how I do want to see proxy robo against this. I do think that's a good way to punish ArT, but only if it's here at like the 4th location. It is so far away. Like reinforcements, immortals rallying from this position are going to take so long to get across the map. It's going to be a delayed all-in by F2 click. And now he scouts. He now sees the base is already done. Nexus is already done, and the pressure is on. The pressure is on F2 click. On the one hand, yes, this will never get scouted, but at the same time, there's a reason why this will never get scouted. We're trying. No, we're trying to go full big brain here with this one, but I'm not too convinced. We'll see. Here comes that Prism. Prism is moving out, so you have a 2-gate setup. Okay. Proxy robo War Prism first into a Bay. Into Immortal into Disruptor drop? I'm assuming Disruptors, technically this could still be Colossus. But this is wild. You know, it'd be even crazier. The Bay finishes and we get like War Prism speed. That'll be crazy. No shot. That's Prism is moving in. Oh, pokes in, but the Prism takes so many hits, so much damage. Yeah, ArT does deflect, getting his own defensive robo, by the way. He's got his 3-gate setup into a robo, shield battery the main base, shield battery the natural as well, sentries in position. And we're going proxy Disruptor. Okay. Disruptor and not Colossus. Likewise, not going for War Prism speed. Disruptors have potential. You'd be down in supply and still pop up. As F2 click trying to fight head on. So far, ArT is holding, he's defending. Immortal has arrived. We're gonna see that Disruptor just waddle across the map. Let's go. Yeah, he'll get there. I mean, you know what? Credit where credit is due. Speed zones. So you know this isn't as bad as it looks. As long as you rally, you can see here the rally is through the speed zone, intentionally so. Okay. There is some logic here. There is some logic. It's still not ideal, but hey, you can just rush through the speed zones and get across the map a little bit faster. It's still from across the map, but you know what? Like this would have been worse if this was a different map, is what I'm getting at. True. There's some logic behind this. As Nova does go up. Ooh, takes out a sword, takes out the sentry as well, not bad. But the army is just moving in. Oh yes, rough control here from F2 click. Zealot's going to be going down, the Prism as well, the Disruptor falls, and he's going to lose everything. Yeah, he's going to lose everything here. The Prism, the Stalkers, the Immortal, the everything. GG gets called before the second Disruptor arrives, and ArT will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. I appreciate the builds out of F2 click. As we mentioned, like F2 click, he's known for just all-inning, just doing nothing but all-in, nothing but cheese. That's how he approaches a lot of these matchups. That's who he be. And we saw something unique. And again, I could see the logic behind it, specifically on Persephone. Like, it's a proxy that's insanely far away, so it won't be scattered, but there are speed zones, so that means that whatever gets built gets across the map a little bit faster than if that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, time was of the essence. As we mentioned, this would have been a better setup against a standard build, but remember, ArT went for a gate expand. ArT went for a very greedy opener, which means time is of the essence, which means that you need to punish that as quickly as possible and get into his face as quickly as possible, because otherwise the economy gets out of hand and out of control insanely fast, right? Insanely fast. And we saw that unfortunately with the delayed proxy, with delayed reinforcements, like it just took a little bit too long. There's always potential when you go for a proxy disruptor, just because Novas have so much potential at the start of the game. The reason for this is because this early on there's no blink, right? There's no blink. You're heavily reliant on your War Prism to be able to preserve your army, preserve your units, and defend. So there's a higher chance that the Novas get damage and get value. And hey, even this Nova got like a sentry and a stalker, maybe 2 stalkers. Like there was a decent connection with that Nova. Unfortunately, only one, right? Only one Nova. One shot is all the F2 click had, and with that, GG, well played. ArT will claim the series, and we are going to be following ArT into his next match. Here we go. As ArT does take the 2-0, and ArT will advance on to face off against the one, the only, the Shameless. The PvPs continue, Pappy. Let's go, let's go. Now, Shameless, he has been looking like a beast as of late. If you haven't been watching, if you weren't here last night, you might not know this, but last night in the WarDTV Monday, what did Shameless do? He toured Showtime. Showtime is one of the best Protoss players in all of Europe, and he got 2-0'd by ArT. ArT had a really strong showing last night, making it all the way to the semi-finals. It was a very impressive run, and we'll see if he can replicate that success as well. I do favor ArT, sorry, did I say ArT? Shameless. A Shameless toured Showtime, so I do favor Shameless coming into this series and coming into this tournament. In my eyes, he is one of the rising stars. But here we go, we're getting into our next matchup, and we'll see if our pink Protoss player can overcome that. Can this player here do what Showtime could not? Let's go. Representing the Platinum Heroes, the Polish Protoss player, it is ArT. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the blue Protoss player, representing Team Little Fairy, it is Shameless. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. In my eyes, the skill levels between Shameless and ArT is closer than between ArT and F2 Click, for sure. Like, this is going to be a closer series, but Shameless has been looking pretty hot as of late. Has been looking pretty on fire. As we are loading into torches for the first time, we do have a low ground setup here. Gate expand. Shameless does move out with the Probe Scouts. Meanwhile, ArT setting up on the high ground instead. So economic opener out of Shameless. ArT, show us what you got. Ooh, 2 gate opener. ArT, he may be the one this time going for the all-in. Again, 2 gate openers are rare on torches. Now, the reason why they're rare, and the reason why what Shameless is doing is more standard, is because torches has a unique feature, ramp into the natural. This is unique. Now, this does mean that your defensive position here on top of the ramp is even greater, so there's a higher chance that you can get away with something like this. Gate expand into Cybercore. This is the same opener, the same build that ArT just went for on Persephone against F2 Click. So now we see Shameless going for the same build, the same opener, but it is safer on torches. Meanwhile, ArT setting up the proxy on his side of the map. But a proxy nonetheless. As we're waiting for the Cybercore, and unlike on Persephone, the rush distance by air and by ground is short. The rush distance is short here, and we are going for the Stargate. So, not a one-base all-in, but he's still being aggressive. He gets found. Never mind. Shameless, he pokes in, he scouts, he confirms the Stargate. So Shameless is aware what's going on. Again, Stargate, proxy Stargate is not an all-in, it is a way to harass. It is a proxy oracle to get damage done in the main base while ArT expands. So even though Shameless has a much faster Nexus, it's already done. The Nexus is already done, by the way, already complete, so much greater economy for Shameless. The Oracle will help supplement that. The Oracle will help to kind of deter and kind of thin the herd and keep the worker count in check. Keep it in check, that's it. It's been a long night. As the Oracle's on the way. Adepts, they do threaten the Shade. Shameless, not able to wall off in time. Ooh. And ArT does get in. He commits. He does commit, forcing a recall. Getting into the main base. And no major damage yet. Does get one probe on the natural. Does get one. Ooh, gets a second, gets a third. And 3 probes going down. Nice damage here by ArT. At the same time, Oracle busts into the main with the shield battery in position. Yeah, the shield battery buying a lot of time. One probe goes down. And the Oracle is going to be forfeit. Yeah, brutal loss. Getting 5 worker kills in total. Getting 6. But there's no escaping with the Oracle. And was this worth it? I mean, is it worth 1 Oracle? I would say yes. But 1 Oracle and 1 Adept did go down. For 6 probes, not the worst trade here, but now it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the second Oracle to get damage done. Phoenix is moving out. Shameless going for the pylon. Oracle's moving in. Moving in. Nothing in position. Probe's going to be falling. Nice damage here by ArT. Very nice. Gets another 4 workers. 10 in total. Phoenix is then racing back home. Shameless out of position. As the Oracle's going to be hunted down, but again gets 6 probe kills. It's 12 in total. Getting up to 12. As it settles, ArT does have a worker lead. Likewise, Blink is actually faster for ArT, catching out of Phoenix. Not bad. A lot of damage is dealt. ArT, he's looking solid. Looking solid here, looking in the commanding position. Faster Blink, better saturation. And even setting up for proxy. Sets up on the left-hand side. ArT is moving out. Shameless, he has scouted the pylon. He's somewhat aware. Behind this, going for his own gateway explosion. Getting up to 5 gateways. And ArT does sneak out across the map. ArT's gonna double the Stalker counts. Going for a later third. I should say going for a third base in general here. Shameless is yet to expand. Again, here comes ArT and blinks on in. Remember, blink is complete. Takes on a probe. Takes on a Stalker. 1, 2 Stalkers going to be falling. Phoenix, they try to lift. Yeah, they try to, but it looks like he's going to be broken. Shameless losing everything. He lost far too many workers early on. And ArT snowballing out of control. Takes out all the Stalkers, or most of them, I should say. Boys are being pulled. More probes going to be falling down. He barely has any workers to lose to begin with. Even catching the shield battery. And remember, ArT isn't all in. ArT, he's expanding. He's getting a third. Just getting further ahead. That's going for the slow warp-ins. Slow reinforcements. Does warp in regardless. Pushing up the ramp. Can't quite break through. Likewise, Shameless, he does at least find some counter damage. This is okay, but he needs so much more than this. Oh god, oh god. As ArT recalls, catching other Phoenixes. And things are looking dire here for Shameless. As ArT is going to come in from behind. He's headed for the natural. And I said it before, you know, can ArT do what Showtime could not? The answer is, I mean, he's pulling it off. It's looking good. This may have sparked a base trade, which may have been the best opportunity here for Shameless. But ArT, he's racing back home. Use a shield battery. Pylon. Ooh, ArT gets applied blocked. Uh-oh. Through the supply block. Shameless does have the Stalker lead. He will kill the third. They're basically going to be going down. Shameless going to get punished. Losing Stalkers. Loving the use of the healing pad, okay. Time to come to Stalkers. And Shameless is dragging ArT down with him in a way. Both players are on 2 bases. ArT still has a greater economy as his long distance mining. And with that greater economy, +1, and charge. ArT, he's taking up. Just building up a superior army. And Shameless over time is going to be outscaled. He's just going to be outscaled here. But he's attacking 3+1. Okay. Coming in from multiple angles, some boys are being pulled, they're tanking some shots, and they tank well. They do tank well. Oof. Catching out more Stalkers. Upgrades are finishing. We have a Dark Shrine on the way. A little bit unnecessary. I don't think there's a Robo? Question mark? Yeah, there's no Robo. No detection. Shameless doing a recount to keep ArT busy. He can. If he can buy some time, then maybe he can get his own upgrades and work towards his own Robo. But the lack of Robo is concerning. So again, ArT has a bit of concave. His Stalkers have lower health, but overall dealing more damage. +2 on the way. His army's just getting better and better. Where are the Zealots? Oh, there's a warping in a couple of Dark Templar. DTs are warping in. And 0 detection. There's just no answer. There's no Oracle, there's no Observer, there's no Cannon. Technically, there's access to an Oracle to chrono one out, but this is still going to be brutal damage. GG gets called as a Dark Templar revealed, and ArT will take game number 1. GG. Again, ArT will take a lead in the series, and again, an impressive showing there by ArT. A very chaotic, very intense game 1. Even though Shameless scouted the Stargate, he lost 12 probes. He lost 12 workers to 2 Oracles. Like, that was still brutal damage. And that was enough. ArT, he got ahead. He got ahead. He crippled the economy. Was able to get a better upgrade count, a better base count, a higher worker count, just ahead in almost every aspect. GG. GG, well played. With that, ArT takes the lead, and now we're getting into game 2. We'll see if Shameless can recover, bounce back, and force the ace match. Oh boy. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the pink Protoss player. We have the Polish Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is ArT. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. I would say one of the rising stars here this tournament, but now down in the series. Can he bring us to the ace match? The pressure is on. It is Shameless. Go. Goes. This time we're going to be calming things down. As a reminder, last game Shameless did go for a greedy opener on Torches, which didn't make the most sense. But instead, now we have a 2-gate opener on Oceanborn. So 2-gate opener on Oceanborn out of ArT, and Shameless as well. Here we go. have our 2 gate openers. So far, there's no other probe on the map, and not yet. Our eyes are open. Here we go. So far we're opening up. We do have again a double sentry out of ArT. Interesting. So we have a double sentry opener. Meanwhile, we have a stalker sentry opener out of our opponent, or out of Shameless. So here we have a standard opener out of Shameless, and ArT is being a little bit greedier here with those neutral sentries. With this, he'll be able to scout with those hallucinations, but he will have a very minimal firepower and DPS available. So even killing the pylon takes that much longer. Oh, hello. Shameless does veer off. Should be expanding. There it is. Takes his natural. But the probe is being a little bit adventurous here. Robo opener out of ArT. ArT is being very safe. Very safe. Robo opener into Immortal production. Does go for a slower start. And Shameless is being active. Now we could see a Twilight Council opener. There it is. Twilight Council opener out of Shameless. Now Shameless, even though he was torn apart in the early game by the Oracles in game 1 by ArT, at the end of the day, what killed him, what was the finishing blow? Dark Templar, right? DTs, that was the finishing blow here. So is there a chance that Shameless has had that on his mind? Is he going to be opening up Twilight Council into a proxy Dark Shrine? That's what's on my mind here. Meanwhile, Shameless does scout across the map. Robo opener. Now would not be the time for a Dark Shrine. He's going for the gateway instead. This I do like more. Again, with a Robo opener, you already have detection. You already have the observer. Immortal first, of course, but detection is available. And the probe goes back home. So we're not sticking around. We're not going for the proxy Dark Shrine. Okay. This is still more dedicated. We do have a 3-gate setup. If we throw down a 4th gateway, this could just be a 2-base all-in. Hallucination is scouting, and we do see ArT does get eyes on the Robo. Sorry, on the proxy. That's what I meant to say. On the proxy, on the gateway. We have another gateway on the way back at home. So this is 4-gate blink. So 2-base 4-gate blink out of Shameless. And ArT knows. ArT is expanding. He doesn't even care. Just getting his 3rd base. I mean, he's already building up Immortals, and Immortals, they do so well defensively. The problem here is that Shameless should have map control with Blink, and he should have a greater economy because of that, but he's doubling down with a 4th K-Way, with a proxy. He's going to be more aggressive. Problem is that ArT, his build is just naturally defensive. Like, he Robo opener into all these Immortals. It means that ArT has less mobility. That is true, but in a head-on fight, ArT, he will dominate. So more than anything, Shameless needs to expand. Ooh. As I've said, you get into the natural. Getting 1, getting 2 probes. Here it comes Shameless, it's all or nothing. And again, I do favor ArT in this position. Shield batteries are finishing up, 30 Immortals almost out. Third Immortal soon to arrive. And Shameless will see if he can break through. Force Fields, they zone away some of the Immortals. There you can see one of them, 2 of them not really adding much. Dives on the first Immortal, does blink in, gets 1, and going for the other. Gets 1, gets 2, not bad. Not bad start here for Shameless. Remember, ArT, he still has a greater economy, still has more probes. And he's rebuilding those Immortals. Shameless, we're going to keep going. Triggers the shields. Now it can blink in. Ooh, as an upset getting to the bases, probes are going down, shades into the main. Shameless, he's distracted. He's distracted. A lot of workers going to be going down at the same time, pushing up ramp into 2 immortals. Oh, good. Shameless, he gets shut down, and now he's heavily behind here in the economy. 10 probes falling down to 36 against the 50 of ArT. And things are looking dire here for Shameless. As we have charge on the way for both players. +1 has begun for ArT. Again, he can afford it. Dep said you shade into the main, okay. Shameless buzzing into the main. Getting a couple of workers. We can see ArT doing the same. Also gets into the main base. Also popping up. Island goes down. Nice pick up there out of Shameless. Wow, he's still losing more probes. Losing up to Ace, losing up to... Oh, giving up to 9. Not quite. Actually, never mind. He can. Gets 9 workers. Stalkers, they go back in. ArT out of position. Completely out of position. Uh-oh. Stalkers, they make the... They're pushing their way in. Yeah, Shameless, he's committed. Going further into the main. Blink down to the low ground. The ball's coming in as well. There is force to recall. I mean, not bad. He got a lot of value here. He got a lot of value. As much as he could. 3 extra workers, couple of stalkers. The last ArT still does punish. You can see the Shameless, he's evening things up. But for the next fights, ArT will have the upgrade lead. Alright, he's got +1 on the way. Blink is on the way as well. So that's the 4th. ArT's moving into the main. ArT begins +2. Still building up that immortal count, getting up to a 4th immortal. This time we got a Zealot Ramai into the natural. That's still getting value. Shameless is with the main army. And here we go, ArT pushing it on 3 ends, on 3 sides. Prism into the main, going for a massive warp in. Likewise, Zealots into the 3rd, and main army's pushing across the map. And ArT, he should overwhelm. Remember, he has the better upgrades. ArT, he's moving in, takes down the mineral line. That's going to be 16, 17 dead workers. God, that's a lot of Zealots. Shameless, he races back into his own main, which means the 3rd base is exposed. And Shameless just out of position, being torn apart. He cannot keep up, not like this. Not anymore. Shameless force to blink down. Nice force fields, there's a recall back home. And ArT, he doesn't even fight. Picks off the 3rd, gets the hell out of there. Recalls back home, Archons are now morphing in. And Shameless, he's all in. Like, Shameless, there's no turning back from this. Like, he has to go all in. It's all or nothing. He has no economy. He has no upgrades. All he has is the army. Even then. It's up in army supply, true. That's a lot of stalkers, it's a lot of gateway units, but the soup does lie. As Shameless, he has a higher quality army. The Archons, they tank well. Breaks down all the Zealots. And now the Immortals are starting in. They start stepping in. GG gets called, and ArT will take the series 2-0, taking down Shameless and advancing on to the 3rd round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Very impressive play here out of ArT. I was praising Shameless earlier, if you recall. Shameless because, hey, last night, what did he do? 2-0 Showtime. He 2-0 Showtime. But here, ArT, he's just built different. Alright, I mean, in both games, it was a similar story. Similar. Game 1 was ArT punishing Shameless with the proxy. Even though Shameless scouted, he was not able to defend against the Oracle, and we saw ArT took an early lead. Take an early lead and just snowball from there. Here, a bit of a different approach. We saw that ArT was being very defensive. He was being very defensive, opening up Robo into more Immortals, and Shameless, he chose to delay his own third. He delayed his own third base in favor of extra gateways, in favor of extra warpins, in favor of more Stalker regression, but it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it in the end. He just did not get enough value, did not get enough damage. It wasn't just that though. I mean, shout out to the MVPs of this game for ArT. The Adepts. He had a lot of Adept harass and Zealot harass as well. He was just doing so much damage across the map, and Shameless had a really hard time being active with the Stalkers and also defending back at her. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations. With that, ArT does advance on to the third round, and we are going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a short break here as we delve into the second half of the broadcast. Up next is going to be another PvP, non-stop Protoss versus Protoss. Up next, after the break, we're going to have Sebesdes versus Hydra. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. Second half of the broadcast here. Welcome back to the OSC Elite Rising Star number 16. Welcome back to our just our plethora of PvPs. As always, Pappy, as always. All the PvPs are here ready for you tonight. And up next, we have Sebesdes and Hydra. Sebesdes and Hydra are going to be facing off in that Protoss matchup. And we'll see how this story unfolds. We'll see if we get any macro games. We had one, true. We had, if you recall, at the beginning of the broadcast, we had Jomek versus ArT. We had one game where both players did just kind of build up on 3 bases before ArT did close things out. That was on Tokamak, if you recall. We'll see if we get more of that, or if we just get more hyper-aggression, which has been the case for the majority of the series. Let's go, as we're jumping into game number 1. Jumping into game 1. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the yellow Protoss player, the yellow Protoss from the land of Czechia, representing Team Roddy. It is Sebesdes. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands. It is Hydra. Here we go. As we're getting into our next PvP of the broadcast here. We're settling in. And when it comes to our 2 players, Sebesdes is, of course, the younger up-and-comer. He's been more active. I do appreciate it. He's been a little more active as of late when it comes to online tournaments. He would play every now and then from time to time, but specifically this year, he's been making the initiative to actually compete in more open cups and take part in more tournaments. Has been great to see some more Sebesdes. Likewise, Hydra also been devoting a little bit more time to StarCraft as of late, to improving. Coming into this, Hydra, I want to say, has a little bit more experience here. Sebesdes is a bit of a younger rising star, younger talent, I should say. So we'll see how they compare. We shall see. I think I lean towards Sebesdes, but I also know that Hydra can pop off. Like, he has it in him to pop off. So if he's on point, can claim this as well. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's Gamma time. Predictions are open. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our second last series of the broadcast. As I mentioned, we do have 10 best of 3s in total, and the plan was to go 5 and 5. 5 and 5. Didn't want to go into too many just because, I mean, for the most part, all these matches have been quite fast, especially the PvPs. They've been really fast and a lot of 2-0s as well. But if the matches start going all the way to the ace match, and if we start getting longer games and more macro games, then the matches can very quickly take up more and more time. So we are going to be cutting it in half. 5 this morning, 5 this evening is the plan. So now we have our 2-gate openers. No proxy, no aggressive setup. Stalker Sentry versus Stalker Sentry. Okay. See, Sebesdes is just laying the expansion, being as annoying as possible. Hydra, he will break out. Likewise, Sebesdes is going to be the first to expand. Hydra not too far behind him. So we have some pretty standard openers. 2-gate opener, sentries to scout, natural bases. Yo, we're going to get to the 3-base economy. Are we playing standard and macro? Okay. This could be it. This could be their time. Phoenix does move out. Likewise, for the greater context of this series, INexorable, the Brazilian Terran player, is waiting for the winner of this match, and we are going to be following the winner of this series into INexorable as well. So I know we've had non-stop PvPs, but we'll have a PvT to end the broadcast. Well, we'll get there. We will get there. Hydra's moving out. does move out early on, but alas, he does walk into a wall of sentries. Hallucination just scouting, just keeping an eye on our players here. Blink is on the way for both. So both players taking in the same direction. We could still see Hydra find some damage, threaten the natural, and try to shade into the main. Episode moving in. Trying to slip by. Ooh, the pilot just 1 second too late. Yeah, 2 loops too late. So Hydra does bust in. Probe's going to be going down, getting 1, 2, up to 3 probe kills. Just 3. Could have been worse. Does cause a bit of chaos. Forces Sebesdes back home. And Hydra takes a 3rd. Yeah, just rushing into his own 3rd base. Sebesdes, meanwhile, delaying his 3rd in favor of Robo. But still going for his own nonetheless. So yeah, as we had kind of assumed at the start, we were like, hold up, are we just gonna chill? We're chilling. These Protoss players are crazy. They want to play macro. They want to play some StarCraft. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So that episode do get into the mineral line, getting 1, 2, 3 probe kill, 4 probes even. 4 probes going down. Nice damage to Sebesdes. I mean, again, he was just distracting Hydra, pushes in towards a 3rd. It doesn't quite get the shield battery though, and pulls away, losing 2 sentries. Oof. A lot of sentries going down. Likewise, though, he does have the Stalker lead. That's where they have it. From here, pulls away and backs off. Does back up again. Better trades for Sebesdes, taking down 5 Stalkers. Insane value. Took down 5 Stalkers, pulls back, preserves his own army. Sebesdes taking advantage of that slightly earlier blink as well. And Hydra has some catching up to do. Does have some catching up to do. Oops, wandering in. Not mining at the 3rd. Shading into the natural. Got more workers. Oh, yes, he doesn't pull away. Another 4 probes going down. And this is just a really rough position for Hydra. He's just been torn apart. Whether it's worker damage, whether it's Stalker losses as well. Sebesdes has just been all over him. And because of his lead, what do we have? We have faster upgrades. Faster +1. Faster Temple Archives. Faster charge. Faster everything. So everything is faster here for Sebesdes. On top of that, Sebesdes still has a larger army. The one advantage that Hydra has, I believe, is the immortal counts. Yes. So Hydra, he has a slight edge on the immortal count. That's the one thing is going his way. Is that going to be enough? It's going to be difficult. And here comes Sebesdes. So basically, because he has a lead, he's making his War Prism as we speak. Then he can move out, he can reinforce, and he can commit. So this is going to be a very decisive move out here from Sebesdes. At least it should be. So here he comes. Prism is out. Archons have arrived. You can see Hydra. He only just now starts charge. Oh, God. Again, so far behind. We got the slow lots. As we can see, Sebesdes, he does spot the main army. Oh! Does focus on the Prism. Prism goes down. Okay, the Prism does fall. Stalkers A-Kai back. And Sebesdes, he should just overwhelm. He should just overwhelm this. Catching out the Stalkers, diving on top of the Immortals. Hydra cannot get away. And Hydra, he will lose everything. As As we'll lose one of the immortals, the rest of the army does step back. Sebesdes is still reinforcing. Remember, he still has his War Prism. We got that slow lots to reinforce. And again, it's just been a shaky game here for Hydra. As Sebesdes does overrun. GG gets called, and Sebesdes takes game number 1. GG. Sebesdes takes the lead in the series. Again, just a strong start to be able to harass, to be able to poke in. He was able to just pull apart the economy and the army of Hydra. It just snowballed into a massive lead with the upgrades, with the economy, with the army, with everything. So GG will play a strong showing there from Sebesdes, and now we're getting into game number 2. We had a bit of a slower start is what I will say. We had a slower start, you know, both players just slowly getting into their builds. We didn't really have anything too spicy early on. We'll see if anything changes coming into Ducklings as we load into one of the more macro maps in the map pool. And spawning in the top right-hand corner here of Ducklings, we have the yellow Protoss player, off the land of Czechia, representing Team Roddy, leading the series 1-0. It is Sebesdes. Uno mas is all he needs. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands. Down in the series, we'll see him bounce back. It is Hydra. We go. Yes, a Terran. We'll get there, we'll get there. I'll be a Terran eventually. Again, waiting for the win of the series, whether this goes to the ace match or not. I mean, the pressure is on Hydra. Pressure is on. When it comes to the previous game, the previous play, Hydra will just have to tighten up his early game. Tighten up his early game defense. His attentiveness to his army, the army control, his mineral lines as well. We'll have to tighten up. We'll have to lock in. As we have our 2-gate opener out of Hydra. Likewise, 2-gate opener out of Sebesdes. So far, so good. As Hydra does move out. Oh, actually sneaking across the map. Okay, okay. You have my attention. Probe does sneak out, pylon gets thrown down, and this would be a more ideal location for a proxy Stargate. Again, it's far away by ground, but it's still close by air. Still close by air. The standard proxy location for a Stargate would be here at the 4th location, would be right here at the mineral patches, at the mineral line. So this is going to be slightly further back. It means it's going to be slightly further away, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get across the map, to get into the bases, but there's a higher chance this goes on Robo. 1 base all in. Okay. 1 base all in out of Hydra. He's going to commit, he's going to double down. Let's go. Let's go. As Hydra, he is going to be gearing up. Adepts are moving out. So this is currently unaware. I say that, checking his vision, Sebesdes, I believe he did, yeah, he did probe scout. He knows the pylon is missing, so he knows that at least. He's aware that the pylon is missing. Oh no! Ooh, and he is searching with 2 probes here on the right-hand side. He does check the standard Stargate location, and checks bottom right, further out, but doesn't check in between. Based on his rally, it looks like he may just never. Models are on the way. Sebesdes opening up Stargate himself. Does open Stargate. Hunting down the Adepts.
Enemy is gunning for our probes.
1 does not get in. And you can see Sebesdes, he's rescouting. He's rescouting the main base. He still knows that something is wrong, that the tech is missing. There's no expansion. And he's checking. There we go. Does move down. Does confirm the Robo. Now he knows all in. Now knows it's going to be a 1 base all in. Now aware that it's not just going to be harassment. It's going to be more committed than that. So setting up. Being proactive. Takes down the first Stalker. Takes down the Stalker. Takes down the Adepts. Once the shields get triggered, as best as he can actually turn on this. Actually, gotta be careful. Here he's backing off. Prism is exposed. He moves in. Prism goes down. Ay, ay, ay. Brutal pickup. Takes down the Prism with the Stargates, getting into his the Phoenix, shuts down the initial Immortal, and there's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing left. Ay, ay, ay. Again, the Phoenix does just hard counter this. More reinforcements have arrived. Sebesdes has the defender's advantage, catching out more of these Stalkers. Unfortunately, there's no lift on the Phoenix, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. GG gets called. Sebesdes, he will completely shut down the all-in, and Sebesdes will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, Sebesdes. He will claim the series that does advance on. Again, a strong showing here. Game 1, Sebesdes showcasing his more macro prowess. Here in Game 2, showcasing his defensive prowess. Again, he did open up Stargate. After the 2-gate Cybercore did go, he just never expanded. Never expanded, go to Stargate instead. Meanwhile, he was able to eventually find the Robo and eventually confirm what was happening and shut it down. So GG, well played. Impressive performance there by Sebesdes, and an unfortunate series there for Hydra. Again, game 1 was just really brutal. The other game was just really brutal. Here in game 2, we saw that Sebesdes was taking it very seriously, was playing safe, and was even able to scat it as well. So wasn't able to get a fast one over on his opponent. And here we go. We're now getting ready for our next matchup, for our next series. The final series of the broadcast here. And again, a lot of 2-0s, a lot of fast games, a lot of proxies, so we've kind of blazed through this a little bit. Tempting to go ham and go for another 5, but nah, we'll take it slow. We'll take it slow, we'll take it easy. Regardless, we do have INexorable. INexorable, the Brazilian Terran player, does step in, and he's going to be going up against Sebesdes. Sebesdes, of course, he's warmed up after a series against Hydra, and game 1 is going to be on Persephone. Let's go. And this should be a very different dynamic. We'll get into it. A very different dynamic here as we're getting into game 1. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the yellow Protoss player of the yellow. Sorry, yeah, Pros. Sorry, we've been casting nothing but PvP today. We have a yellow Terran player, the Brazilian Terran, currently teamless. It is INexorable. Also a Rising Star, true. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player from the land of Czechia. It is Sebesdes. Representing Team Roddy. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is GABA time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our PvP. Let's go. Our first non-PvP of the broadcast. Crazy, buddy, crazy. Here we go. Now, as we get into this matchup here, what I was going to get into, double gas makes sense. INexorable, he's typically hyper aggressive. We often see 1 base all-ins, we often see 2 base all-ins out of INexorable, where he just double down, he just commits, he just sends it across the map. INexorable, especially in this matchup here, is very, very in the face of the pros. Very rarely do we see a third CC in a macro game out of INexorable. Now, in saying that, I haven't casted INexorable in like a month, maybe 2 months, pre-EWC. Pre-EWC, the Brazilian Sakachu circuit was the last time we saw INexorable, so it's been a while. It's been a while, so we'll see if that style has changed. We'll see if he has more, or if he does more of the same. More of the same. So about double gas, faster factory, delayed CC. So already a more tech-heavy start out of INexorable. Hey, like, do I get any points if nobody bets against my guy? If no one bets against you, you don't earn anything, and if you lose the bet, you will lose everything. the house wins, baby. The house wins. They'll take it all. From my side, I don't really know who to favor coming into this series. I think INexorable in his prime would be quite close in skill to Sebesdes, but because INexorable has been taking some time off, knocked himself in, nicely done. But because he's been taking some time off, it's a little bit harder to judge here. I think now I lean towards Sebesdes instead, but we'll see. We shall see. Oh, as the Reaper should not be able to escape. Not with the Shade. Oh my god, yeah. Shade does complete. Reaper goes down. You have a take of choice. Twilight Council, extra gateways so far. 2-gate blink. We should be getting up to around 3 gateways, just to be safe. And INexorable getting to his own 1-1-1. Hi, see, hi. Let's go. So I'm looking into investing into wireless cameras. They exist, right? I think so. Okay. Looking into it. Meanwhile, we do have our drop into the main. Green Cyclone does move in. And so far, losing the medevac though. Tells us medevac it's going to be a one-way trip. Trades against the Stalkers, but he will lose the Cyclone. Getting another Stalker. Getting a second. Do we get a third? Nah, not quite. Not quite. So we do have a bit of a trade here. 2 Stalkers for a medevac, a Cyclone, Reaper, and 4 Marines. I would say it's a better trade for Sebesdes. INexorable, the drop stages don't stop. Okay. Doesn't stop, just keep going. Keeps on going, keeps on moving out. Again, rallying over. It does rally in. Meanwhile, Sebesdes is out of position this time. Okay, not expecting the second drop, but not really achieving too much damage. Gets 3 probes, forces a recall, and INexorable does pull back, does pull away. Behind this building are more tanks, and not going for the add-on swap for the starport, does go for the swap instead for Stim. So earlier Stim out of INexorable, no Banshee, no Raven. So we got earlier Stim, earlier tank production. We're building up towards that Stim timing. It's going to be on Sebesdes to contain the Terran player. Behind this, we have 3 gates, I believe. Yeah, 3 gates. 3-gate blink into a robo. From here, Sebesdes will expand, will get his 3rd base, and contain the Terran. Go. So this is likewise rallying on the right hand side. One's also in the shade. Does move out. We did mention that the Stim timing is still upon us. Stim is still a little bit of a ways away. It'll finish up by the time the armor gets across the map. INexorable is pushing. And Sebesdes, he's trying to slow this down. Gets a couple of Marines. Ideally, he wants a tank. But Marines are going down. INexorable moving in. Does move in, gets one of the Stalkers, tank save, gets a siege, Liberator does full. Yeah, it looks like he's being shut down. Yes, Stalkers, they just go straight for the tanks, medevac cannot engage, there's no Marines, and INexorable here will lose everything. These are brutal losses. Never got a chance to siege. GG gets called, the all-in does fall in its face, and Sebesdes takes game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, an unfortunate move out. Unfortunately, INexorable, he just never had a chance. Never had a chance to siege up, to actually make use of that kind of army. He was trying to get across the map, but because Sebesdes had so much map control, because he was already active outside of the natural, he could slow it down. And even though he didn't initially pick off any tanks, he got rid of all the Marines. And what that meant was, without any Marines, the tanks could never siege. Once they tried to, they'd just be targeted down. They'd just be targeted down then and there. So INexorable, he just kept trying to force his way forward. Alas, GG. GG, well played. Did lose everything in the process. Now we're getting to game number 2, and we'll see if INexorable can bounce back. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he has a different kind of build up his sleeve here. Again, the initial opener wasn't too bad, but we'll see. As we load into a much larger map of the map pool, higher chance we go into a longer game. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have our Brazilian Terran player. We have the yellow Terran. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss from land of Czechia, representing Team Roddy, leading the series 1-0. It is Sebesdes. What? No PvP? I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Is this even StarCraft? What is this human race? What are they doing here? Trying to go up against the advanced aliens? Mate, they're crazy. Notice people don't bet games without famous players. I mean, I think that a lot of people that watch StarCraft, I mean, there's a lot of like hardcore viewers for sure that watch on a regular basis. But at the same time, I'm sure there are people that tune in like maybe once every now and then, and there's a lower chance that they're familiar with these players, right? Like, if you've been watching the CranKy Ducklings, especially the Brazilian circuit, you know INexorable. But again, as I mentioned, Sebesdes, he doesn't play too much. He doesn't compete too often in tournaments, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are just taking a step back from betting on some of these players, because it's like, oh, who's the clear favorite? Like, it's hard to say. I said that I lean towards Sebesdes, but even then, like, it's, you know, it's more of a gamble, Whereas, I don't know, if you have like Max versus Bjorn, then you have a better idea of like the caliber of skill of these players, so you can come in with a little bit more confidence as to who you believe is going to be favored in that match between like Max and Bjorn, or Hero and Solar, just because you know the players a lot more, just because you've seen them play a lot more as well. You can make like a better, like educated like prediction for that sort of thing. Whereas for lesser known players, especially if you don't watch every day, if you don't watch their region too often, then you know, not as much confidence sort of thing. I would imagine. There's like less of a drive to gamba. Regardless, we're going to be opening up. Once again, double gas opener, faster factory, delayed TC out of INexorable, so the same build 2 games in a row. Same build. When in doubt, bet Protoss. True. Reaper does rotate. Does pick in, does pull away. So far, we are going to be selling in. Once again, Sebesdes is going to be working towards Blink. So Twilight Council into Blink. We do have our 3-gate setup here out of Sebesdes. Meanwhile, INexorable across the map, this time going for a mine drop. Okay, now as a reminder, last game we had Tech Lab on the factory into a Cyclone drop, followed by a tank drop, then into the tank push, just because tank production was beginning so early on. This time it is going to be a Widow Mine drop opener instead. Less dedicated, there's less gas invested into this drop, and we do see INexorable get into earlier tank production as a result. So tanks are amassing. We'll see if once again we go for the swap into earlier stim. This looks like a similar setup. Not the same, but similar. So INexorable does threaten the pylon. Pylon does go down. Mine shot. Oh! Doesn't quite go off. Does on board, but Widow Mine does thankfully survive. Widow Mine survives, tanks are building up. There's that add-on swap into earlier stim. So even though the opener itself was different because we didn't make any cyclones, didn't go for the tank drop, we're still building up those early tanks and still getting into early stim. INexorable dropping into the main. Doesn't really get much. Gonna be forced out. It's forced out. Oh no. As down goes the medevac, the widow mines the marines as well, so a rough loss there for INexorable. Sebesdes now can move out. There's nothing to keep him back. The drop was keeping him pinned back at home because we could always threaten a drop into the main. Without the medevac, Sebesdes, he has gained map control, is pushing across the map, and just like last time, now Sebesdes can just park himself outside of the base and can even, crazy blink. Yeah, crazy blink as Sebesdes does take down the tank. Gets a tank, still bleeds out a couple of stalkers. Again, a very awkward kind of blink there from Sebesdes, but still gets a tank nonetheless. Sebesdes pulls away. But again, right now it's on Sebesdes to contain the Terran player. And you see what I see? Third CC. Last game, INexorable went for a 2-base all-in. This time he's expanding. This time does expand. Observer gets away from the scan. Observer does survive. Sebesdes is going to be claiming his third base, getting fully saturated. Behind this, after blink, getting to charge. Storm is on the way. Storm is going to be splash damage of choice. Not going into Colossus. That's one thing. Sebesdes gets a Marauder, picks up a couple of Marines for a Stalker. Stalker goes down. We're peeling off here to go for a drop. Despite Sebesdes having map control here, despite the Observer did see. Yeah, he should have seen the medevac moving out. There's a chance he missed it. Yeah, Sebesdes, he pulls away. There is that spotted pylon. Storm is revealed. We do have 2 more High Templar, 2 more Storms. Making the way towards the mineral line. Skirting around the edge. INexorable, you can see he's getting in position. He's aware. He's aware that he can be threatened. Does miss the Prism though. Just the 1 Marine. And Sebesdes, yeah, he does still go for the mineral line, forcing INexorable out. Yeah, it does force him to evacuate. Now going into the main. Barely any mining going on. Do we just send it? Wait, what? Where are we going? There we go. So he does head towards the third. So again, just 0 economy for a couple of seconds there. Does pull away. There's a recall back home. And there it is. I was curious. We just sanded. The boys are in fact being pulled. I mean, INexorable's taken so much damage. He's pushing into 3 storms, and more than that, so many storms. Their storms are popping up. Landing on the SCVs. That's so many workers going down. The Marines are now coming in. Do we have any storms left? The answer is yes. Yeah, there's still 2, soon to be 3 storms. Oh. Here it does spend 1. 2 more storms remaining. Down to 1. And that's the final storm. Oh god, that storm was insane. Yeah, the storm pops up, and Sebesdes, he will clean everything up. GG, well played, Sebesdes. He will claim the series 2-0. He will take down INexorable and advance on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, Sebesdes. He will claim the series. INexorable taking a bit of a different approach here. Hey, I was convinced as well. You know, we saw a 3rd CC. I was like, yo, INexorable, he's gonna expand. He's gonna macro. Nah. He pulls the boys instead. Of course, he had to pull them away because of the storm drops, and I don't know if that was the initial plan to go for the all-in, or if because of the storm drops, because of the denied economy, he felt like he had to pull the boys and he had to go for the all-in because he was so far behind. It's hard to say which one it really was coming into it, but regardless, GG well played. I mean, he had to commit, and we saw that Sebesdes was just all over him, had plenty of High Templar. He had 5 High Templar, 5 Storms in total, and they popped off. There was like 1 Storm that missed, but outside of that, like the Storms were brutal. GG. Oh, GG well played, and now we can catch up on the bracket. We can catch up on the brackets as we do have some updates here. Okay, so of course from the top we had ArT. ArT took down Jomek at the start of the broadcast. He's waiting for the winner of Honmono and Bappy in the next round. Meanwhile, the other ArT took down F2 Click and took down Shameless. Again, that was a very impressive win. Likewise, Sebesdes took down Hydra, took down INexorable, and we have ArT versus Sebesdes coming up soon. TM. That'll most likely be in the coming weeks, as remember, this is a month-long event, a couple of months even to go through the entire tournament. So far we have worked through a good portion of the bracket, and we have more matches coming up later on tonight. Later on tonight we're going to be featuring Sig versus Middle VK. I believe that's going to be a lower match. Let's see. Yeah, scrolling down, here we go. Scrolling down a little bit, Sig versus Middle VK into Percival. We're going to be covering those matches. Likewise, we're going to be covering Mini Zerg versus Moja into Iba as well. And we're also going to be covering Babe Marine versus Night Phoenix. So this portion, this little segment of the bracket is going to be covered tonight. That's going to be tonight here. Another 5 best of 3s. Honestly, like this broadcast was really short, covering 5 matches here. But a lot of that reason is PvPs. Like these PvPs that was so fast. They were so fast. They were so quick. I can see Sig versus MinoVK being a fast one as well. But some of these other matches feature different races. Here, Mini Zerg versus Moja, Zerg versus Terran. Moja is willing to play mech as well. We have Percival up against a Protoss player. That's going to be a shorter one. Percival is hyper aggressive like INexorable. He's very aggressive. He's very all in. So that'll be a shorter series. Mini Zerg and Moja into Eva. That'll also be a bit of a longer one. Babe Marine versus Night Phoenix. I can see that being a bit of a quirky one as well. So there's a higher chance that these best of 3s are going to be a little bit longer in their length, in their matches, in their series. So again, we're going to be covering that later on tonight. The plan here is to have 2 broadcasts. Man, we can see our schedule. You can see what we have ready for you this week. We just wrapped up with our Tuesday morning broadcast, and tonight, Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. KST, that's going to be 8 p.m. AEST. That's going to be in 8 hours. In 8 hours time, we're going to be well rested. I'm going to go sleep. We're going to be well rested and ready for the second half of the broadcast with 5 more best of 3s. 5 best of 3s. Likewise, tomorrow you can see here we're going to be live with the Biggest Cup. Biggest Cup is going to be Wednesday. We have the Pwnecast on Thursday. We have Sunny Lake Cup on Friday. We have the RSL Season 2 qualifiers on Saturday morning and evening. And we have the Sparkling Tuna Cup on a Sunday. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft on the horizon here. Take care. Take care, everyone. Just catching up in the chat. Now incoming light ladder to compensate short broadcast. No, Sean. No, Sean. I did not get much sleep, so the plan is to get some sleep before the next cast. Ugh. And on top of that, I'm not going to be streaming because we have a near and dear friend of the channel that is streaming currently instead. Babylings is live, so give Babylings some love. I'm going to be rating Babylings here as she has been very inactive on stream, but she has been very vigilant when it comes to laddering and playing Star. I mean, she's always been known she's just an insane grinder when it comes to playing StarCraft. She has like hundreds of games already this season and tens of thousands in her career of Star. It's crazy. she ladders a lot. And she had GM when? Yesterday? I want to say yesterday she had GM, so really strong performance. Plays so much more than I do. I don't have time to play anymore. I'd love to. But yes, gonna be getting some rest here. We're too busy casting instead of laddering. Smerge. But as you can see on our schedule, because we're going to be casting Pegasus Cup tomorrow and we have an empty slot Wednesday evening, I do plan on casting Pegasus Cup and then actually streaming and laddering tomorrow. That'll be the plan. And that'll be the plan on Wednesday and on Friday as well, after the Sunny Lake Cup. So Wednesday and Friday, I do plan on streaming. Maybe Thursday before the Pwnecast as well. Maybe. The problem with Thursdays is before the Pwnecast, usually I catch up on all the interviews. Like, there's a lot of interviews that do occur throughout the week that are StarCraft related, and I usually have to just go through all the videos, take some notes, and then talk about them during the Pwnecast. So Depends how much there is to watch. Depends. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. S2 historian release Clem's interview. Yeah, yes. Get for point. It's already on the list. I think that's his second interview. There was another one that he conducted, if I remember correctly. SC2 historian. Because the Clem one was the recent one, but we're gonna be talking about classic. That's it. So he did a classic interview and a Clem interview, so we're gonna be doing both of those. And there's like a bunch of other stuff as well. Let's double check here. I can give you a teaser. Maybe. Podcast notes. But yes, we'll be discussing at least those two things. At least those two. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you for the support. We do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. See you guys later on tonight in 8 hours for the second half of the Rising Star tournament. Again, featuring all the Rising Stars, Rising Talent in StarCraft 2. Thanks for watching, and give some love to the players. Give some love to Eddie for running the tournament, running the event. If you want to support us even further, you can do so via following us on all the socials. If you see something that you like, if maybe you're in Europe, if you're in the Americas, and if in 8 hours you're not going to be awake because you're going to be asleep because you're in the Americas, hey, you can watch the VODs. You can watch the VODs over on YouTube. So check us out over on our YouTube channel. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis. All the content. Yes, with that, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.